that game had 5 problems, and it was every single person on Quantic. So you could maybe take out Zed, but then Hai's going to play Kha'Zix. Unless you're specifically targeting all of the champions that Hai plays, you're not going to be able to shut him down.
Okay, so we'll see what they do with their ban strategy then this time. Gragas does get removed. Kale again from Quantic. They're going to target Zed this time.
At least with the first ban, and it does look like they're going to try to get all the things out from Quantic. They really value Twisted Fate, you can tell as a team, because they first picked it last game versus banning it against Hai. Even though Hai, yes, he does play Twisted Fate, none of these guys are like known as like, that guy's Twisted Fate is incredible. It's just one of those things nowadays where Twisted Fate appears to be that champion you have to either have or get rid of.
So Quantic right there, if I recall correctly, I think banned the same 3 champions last time. At least the Gragas and Kale are the same.
They're somewhat targeting MIA, knowing that his Kale support is actually kind of keyed on a lot of the unconventional picks that Prolly's going to go with.
So you called it, you ban the Zed and he grabs Kha'Zix. Right off the bat, Kha'Zix locked in there.
And at least compLexity is taking away the things that Quantic had last game right now.
Yeah.
But they run the risk of what Don't Mash Me talked about, whereas they're just playing the strong champions now. They're not doing their thing, because Loud Mortis, he's not known for his Zac. Zac is just known as a strong champion right now. And even though Nick Wu is somewhat known for his Shen, it's not his Darius play that actually got him a lot of the wins late season.
All right, so we'll see then what the response is, because Quantic's got to pick even more new champions. 3 of their originals were banned out, or banned or taken away this time around. So a new lineup for sure. Sona going to come back in, and Elise grabbed.
And that Elise could be going in a lot of different places. Meteos could jungle, they could run it top lane, or they could run it support. This doesn't give compLexity much to go off of as far as picking counter things. It's not going to be a support Elise because they have a Sona, but it could still go in the other 2 spots.
If it was Thresh, I'd give you the slack for that one. So compLexity, though, they're making their next 2 picks. They've got 35 seconds to make their choices. I'm going to guess Nick Wu top, because at this point they've got, I guess Zac and Shen could swap back and forth, but they've got 2 of the lanes locked down at this point.
Those 2 are probably not going in many different places. Right now, they're probably going to be defining their team in these next 2 picks, whether they want to go with something crazy and unconventional. It's tough to lane against a Kha'Zix if you're Prolly. You need to be able to take something that can kind of handle getting jumped on, and they're going to wait until last pick to do that, I think.
So they've taken away another pick here from Quantic. They grabbed the AD carry Ezreal. That's going to be on Shuper, and once again, they're looking at Fiddle.
And here we go, right away, Quantic puts in the Jace again. So they're going to run AD carry Jace, as well as Rumble probably in the top lane. That worked for them yesterday in the qualifiers. Not yesterday in the qualifiers, yesterday in the first round in the Challenger Series.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting for Quantic. I love their AD carry Jace yesterday.
So the full lineup has been locked in here. Going to be fun to watch that one overall. compLexity need to make their very final pick. I suppose I've seen Middlesticks before, but you've got to expect it's MIA support. They've got to get one more champion here.
Especially since MIA played support last game. For Prolly, Kennen maybe? His Kennen hasn't been that successful. It's like his favorite champion. Like for him to be successful here, he's got to go with something totally off the wall, as far as I can tell. But we don't know what they're going to do. They're definitely taking their time with it and having a lot of discussion.
So 10 seconds still to go. You're seeing Prolly just sort of, he's got his finger on his head. He's tilting back and forth, trying to figure out what he wants to go for. Right now he's hovering over Diana for this one with 2 seconds left to go. That's going to be his pick here. Diana mid here for compLexity.
Yeah, so Diana mid is a good pick against Kha'Zix. But the one game Prolly had on Diana during the season was against Reginald's Karthus, and it did not go very well. So this is an example of Prolly, with his large champion pool, picking a counter instead of something completely off the wall. Well, not a counter, but just a good lane matchup against Hai. Because of the way Diana's W gives him the double shield, it should be able to block a lot of Hai's all-in damage on Diana, and will be able to at least survive.
So compLexity, they seem to have a very initiate-heavy team. Zac, Shen, Diana all up in there. How would you really characterize them, or did that sum it up, basically? Yeah,
they're initiate-heavy. That's generally what they're going for. The other thing that they have with the fact of having Fiddlestick support, if they can pull it off, is a decent counter initiation, because Fiddle loves to wait in the wings and then hop in late in the fight. Quantic seems to have all the capabilities they want in their team as well.
All right, so guys, we're going to be getting ourselves into Game 2 in just a few seconds as Champ Select winds down. You saw the lineups on your screen. Quantic is up 1-0 in this best of 5. If they win 2 more, they are into the LCS. They're the first of the 4 teams to make it. Now, yeah, when people have a lot of hype, you got to believe it a little bit, but we're going to show them that it's more of a cakewalk, and we got this one. We'll see if they can do that here on the red team in Game 2. Right off the bat, they're actually sending AD and support top lane, so they're doing something a little bit different.
Well, they are the purple side this time, and these seem like the standard lanes. The last game, they had their AD carrying support in the lane where they could do double golems as well, but they got out-pushed. They can't let that happen again, but since they're up against a Jay Sona, it very well could. The Fiddlesticks is not a lane that necessarily pushes very quickly.
Now, Sona right off the bat actually putting a ward across the wall there. I don't know if they spotted much of anything. Actually, Elimination hiding in Baron Pit, trying to make sure he doesn't get jumped on. And the rest of Quantic are actually pushing through into that complexity jungle. I believe they've been spotted.
Yeah, that ward did see them walk through there. But Quantic now, since they saw Ezreal and Fiddlesticks way up in the top of the jungle, felt at least a little bit safe putting that deep ward in the jungle.
Okay, so early vision is available here. They got the one on the Wraith Brush, but otherwise everyone is now standing a little bit defensive. Complexity, though, they're actually getting spotted out by this unconventional ward up in the top lane, so they know that Louder Mortis, Trooper, and MAA are looking to jump in this blue buff.
Potentially that could be what they'd be doing, but they are all moving through. No vision pretty much where they're going, and they are going to walk through that ward, so Complexity will know that 4 people are up in their blue, so Complexity's trying to get a blue of their own.
Okay, so both invasions are known to both these teams, and they're going to start things out. Quantic getting a little bit greedy. They're actually going to go for the Wolves, actually, and so is Complexity. So very, very mirrored invades. Just Quantic bringing a few more numbers as their lanes start shaping up. It's Nikwu running down to the bottom, and no one is going to even try to contest this blue buff.
Not in the slightest. They're happy just trading this one. This looks like the most standard setup we've seen so far from them. I mean, Prawley's trying to get a little bit of wraiths for himself so he doesn't get level 2'd all in by high, but he's got to still worry about that red elixir as well.
So jungle Elise Meteos has that blue buff and has saved his smite. Louder Mortis on Zac in the jungle, the exact same. There we go. There's a level 2 on Prawley you talked about.
So he's avoided the early level 2 from high, and that's really the whole purpose of him taking the wraiths.
Okay, so here we go. 2 versus 1 up in the top lane, 2 versus 1 down to the bottom. As we see the junglers through their camps, the thing that that Dome Mastery really pointed out was that the push did not come out fast enough from Chupa. They couldn't take down turrets quickly or in time, and they got out-pushed. What do you see in terms of these 2v1s? Which push works better?
I think the Sona Jace push definitely works better, but there's a lot more threat on balls, just because MIA's Fear is so potent, and the Zac ganks are really good for tower diving just because he can take a bunch of damage and still have his passive up if he's able to drop Tower Egger near the end. So as far as pushing goes, I'd have to say the edge should be a little bit on Quantic.
Well, speaking of Quantic, they're actually, I guess to say both teams are looking to 3-on-1 tower dive this. The Meteors at the bottom was spotted by a ward. Louder Mortis walks brazenly through the river up in the lane and says, by the way, guys, I am in fact here 3v1. And we'll see what Balls can do. Put some slows down. They're going to push in towards the turret.
Yeah, so yesterday, as Louder Mortis actually takes a couple unfortunate turret shots, we saw a bunch of junglers ganking for the solo. This time we're seeing junglers ganking for the duo lane, and we're probably just seeing a straight-up turret trade, because on the other side, Nikwu has completely abandoned his turret and actually started taking his wolves.
You're seeing the minions just get evaporated right there. Nikwu only level 1 still. Very unfortunate spot for him. At least Balls is 3 right here. He actually got to get lane XP onto the turret.
Yep, he's got a bit of it, but he risks the dive.
No, they're all going to go in. MAA pulls turret aggro, gets right back out. Castro destroys the red turret down there. Complexity at least will answer back. They did burn the summoners out from Balls.
Yep, but he did get some of that turret experience, so it's a kind of trade back and forth. It's just a matter of how scared is Balls right now. Is he going to be swapping to other lanes, or is he going to try to sit back at his back turret and farm?
Well, we'll see what these guys end up doing. In the mid lane, we're seeing level 4 versus level 3. Prawley and High. High's actually run out of mana at this point already. And oh my gosh, Quantic very early on. They're rushing for a dragon at 4 minutes.
Yeah, but you can see Prawley is trying to stop this one. The dragon's going down very fast. Sometimes the spiderlings can actually take some of the dragon damage, which is one of the reasons they're able to take this so well. But Prawley trying to poke in. Everyone on Complexity wants to fight them here.
We'll see if they can go in. Acceleration get comes across. Can Prawley do much? Oh, a nice stun from Elise. Elimination has a flash over the wall as well. So he lost a couple summoners, but a dragon, totally worth it.
Really good aggressive move by Quantic there, saying we're taking this at right at 4 minutes. Complexity was actually the team known during the season for taking the early dragons, and Quantic steals it away from them, really taking a lot of Complexity's winning avenues away from them.
Well, they are going to look at this mid lane, though. They've got 4 here. They've got a cannon minion as well. As they clear out these minions, maybe they can put some turret pressure down.
They're going to be trying to do that. I mean, they've already taken the turret. They're sweeping mid. Chuper doesn't want it. They want to be able to get something back here. So it's a lot of mid turret damage, but Jace and Sona are on their way, so they really weren't able to get much.
Well, they got it done about 2/3, and you're right. The rest of Quantic did show up to defend this one out. Meanwhile, we've seen now those solo laners that were so deprived earlier on, now able to sort of free farm. Balls is level 5, only level 3 though for Nikwu. That could be harsh.
A lot of that has to do with the way they were giving up their turrets. Balls was a little bit more aggressive or ballsy, would you say, trying to stick at his turret, and got the experience risking a little bit of death, but it did give him about a wave and a half extra, which Nick Wu completely conceded.
Well, that's going to be very, very good for Quantic then, as Meteos goes to steal away some of the jungle. Pretty easy job right there. Good job, Elise. Smites it away. And Hai is now fighting Nick Wu heads up 1v1. Hai with a level advantage as well as a 12 minion kill lead as well.
And the mid lane is really getting pushed hard by Quantic on the rest of this one. See if Chuper and MIA can push them back.
So Sneaky Castro there, the AD carry. Support there as well. Going to move themselves forward. Castro, of course, the minions losing magic resist, which doesn't mean too much against Chuper. Hai and Nick Wu battling out. Hai's actually already burned a red elixir, and they are trading blows back and forth, and both of them do have sustain, though.
Yeah, we'll see when Hai actually used that red elixir. Yeah, what's happened just in that trade. I thought maybe he would have done it earlier for the Dragon while they were trying to rush down their objectives, but it's really pretty much just for the brawl. He's farmed quite well on Kha'Zix, and if yesterday was any indication, that is not good for complexity.
No, not at all. Certainly this game is looking to go towards Quantic for now. Ball's level 6, has the ultimate. Nick Wu does not. So those would-be top laners, certainly an advantage is here on the Quantic side. Probably is going to be fighting heads up against this, but Laudamortis is waiting in the wings to find himself a gank pop. Nope, he's recalling.
Yeah, Laudamortis has spent a lot of time roaming around and trying to find gank opportunities, and that's another one that just wasn't quite there. Level 4, 7 minutes into the game, isn't necessarily going to allow Laudamortis to have too much of an impact. The good news for him is, though, this is one of the rare times where Complexity is running with 2 tanks instead of 1, so it might not bite him quite as badly as it would in other games.
So let's take a look at who's actually doing very, very well here. You mentioned that they've got 2 tanks. Laudamortis finally hitting level 5 here. But I want to sort of call out some of these heads-up matchups. The AD carries are equal, the mid laners are equal. Only the top lane's really different there. I know you mentioned that the Notch channel it's going to be hurting.
Yeah, but the big thing to factor in, as MI actually has to burn his flash here, is that Quantic spent all that time taking an extra dragon, and it did give them a little bit of extra map control because they've taken this turret now for the blue buff.
Jeez.
So the minions are even, but they have more control.
And Laudamortis is going to go and try to turn this one around. Nick Wu is there, but only level 4 Hai, just doing so well and pops the passive. But here comes MIA. Will they have enough damage? The Bloblet's running around, probably flashed forward, but cannot find anything to jump onto. So a bit of a wasted cooldown. Laudamortis losing his passive cooldown, but otherwise no kills still.
But it was a 4v5.
Yeah.
And they burned the passive. Slash got Laudamortis super, super low. So that was another win for Quantic because Balls is getting all of that minion kill advantage back. And he actually has adequate farm to any of the other solo laners in the game. So that 1v2 hasn't set him back in the slightest.
And they're going to go on a Sneaky Castro. They're level 6 on the Jace acceleration gate. Runs backwards. MEA cannot quite find a fear to land onto Sona. So they will get away very successfully. And Hai is just perennially on the split push here on that assassin Kha'Zix.
Quantic really looks like they're one step ahead of complexity in almost everything they do, whether it was getting the very first dragon, being the ones to initiate the pushes, or even being in the brush for Probably to check it.
Oh my gosh, so much damage being dealt there. Probably could not jump away in time. First blood going over to Balls. Great play there.
That was such a good camp in that lane. He pushed up the wave in a way that made it look like he was going back to base, but he waited for it, caught Probably unawares, and just spiked him down.
Beautiful play there. Hai actually waiting in the brush as well, stalking his prey. Nick Wu so afraid to last hit anything because he knows Kha'Zix is going to leap up from the brush and do about half his health in about 2 seconds flat. Then Hai last hits and goes right back in.
And from top lane to bottom lane, Quantic has the freedom to just wait in the brush and wait for Complexity to walk into bad situations. That's because they've established so much pressure with their pushing, with their farming, and with the dragon control, plus deep wards and the blue buff, to just let them keep Complexity completely pushed back.
Some beautiful stuff by them. The map just has been there so far. You see, Probably's now been sent. He's the one to try to fight up against Hai. He did okay in the lane so far. We'll see if he can keep up with this one. Of course, neither of them have any kills, but the global advantage is still moving towards Quantic. Another turret's going to go down.
And it's mainly because the turret was just a reaction to how much they're in Complexity stuff. If you're living on that side of the map, the minions are just going to end up pushing towards the turret, and the turret is just going to get low over time.
And of course they did pick that one up, so Laudamortis now level 6, has to grab his own lizard buff, does so successfully. So this time around they've had, actually I think that's equal buffs so far compared to last game. They got 2 lizards and 1 blue. And we'll see what the count ends up being as the game moves on forward. Nick Wu is still trying to hold on to this bottom lane, only 39 minions. That's a very rough start for a Shen.
And it's kind of funny how the Rumble versus Shen matchup, even though they haven't been laning against each other, is completely swapped from team to team this time. And Nick Wu was saying, hey, that Aegis really worked well against me last game. I'm going to try to get that one. But the problem here is Nikwu's actually a lot farther behind than Balls was, and he's getting his Aegis much slower. So where Balls has already stacked up all his magic penetration, Nikwu just has a null magic, and if they do force this dragon fight, there's the super magic pen rumble coming down with no Aegis to match it. So this is a great force by Quantic.
Already they started on this one and probably has to take the long way around the map to try to show up. This might not be in time. Meteos to high and Elimination is doing so much damage that will be dragon grabbed. Second one already at 1050.
So that's now 3,500 gold lead. Most teams get their first dragon in 11 minutes, not their second dragon, plus a turret advantage for Quantic. So even though this game doesn't have the kill edge that Quantic had last game, it's looking quite similar, which is not good news for compLexity.
Not at all, and High just can't be trifled with. Like, yeah, he doesn't have any champion kills or whatever, but no one can really mess with him right here. Sneaky Castro getting jumped on by Loudamortis, the team trying to show up as well. Shendo comes by, this could be enough for Shendo comes across. Elimination takes a bit of damage. MIA Crowstorm's in, but cannot find anyone to deal damage to. compLexity cannot find openings here to save their lives.
Such a good disengage by Quantic, and now they could potentially be on the attack if they want to go for it.
And they get the stun on a Trooper who Arcane shifts backwards. He will survive now, but High comes by.
Oh!
Oh, he gets one for free, and Trooper, he might die to Ignite, and he does. Double kill there for High.
That was so good by High. He ignited the guy that could barrier through it, even though he was on a sliver. And since Ignite lasts longer than barrier, he knew that was going to kill him. And then he spiked down the other guy, which was Loudamortis, with his spells to make sure he picked up that double kill.
Beautiful stuff there. And High just goes back to the right-hand side lane because he's going to keep split pushing and farming minions.
That's exactly what you want to do on Kha'Zix. You have the leap and assassination ability for the cleanup, and if you're not there, you have such amazing wave clear that High is just playing that champion to the best of his abilities.
He's doing a very good job with that one. The second mid turret now also under pressure. Top lane, who cares? All the outer turrets, doesn't even matter. 2/3 health on your inner turrets, we'll take that one, no problem. So High, a lot of damage to the right-hand side. The rest of the team had pushed down the mid side. Once again, compLexity playing catch-up, trying to catch these lanes back to something decent.
And I don't know how they're going to be able to catch up on them there, because that was their big initiation when Loudamortis tried to go in on Elimination, and or actually went on a Sneaky Castro, and all he got out of that is a flash and a couple deaths for his own team. So anytime they try to initiate now, they're at even higher risk, because it only goes from bad to worse when you continue to initiate when you're behind. And it seems like that's what Quantic is poised to do here in a potential 4v5 at their blue buff.
They're going to dive in on the Meteos a little bit, gets him slowed down, but Loudamortis can't quite find enough damage from his team. This blue buff's going to be going down, looks like to be in compLexity's favor, so they're at least doing a better job this time around of controlling their own jungle.
And that was actually a pretty good form of constraint by Quantic, because the first time they stole the blue buff, it was another 4v5, but compLexity showed up late, and Quantic then actually did a bunch of damage to Loudamortis and fell back. But this time they realized that Quantic already had a pretty big edge, and since compLexity was on top of the blue buff move, that they should just give it up, because Balls was way off in the top lane. It was another 4v5, and that would have been a way that compLexity could maybe claw their way back in, because giving up the blue buff just in isolation didn't give compLexity much back.
Okay, so it's Quantic's turn to keep the pressure on. Certainly they are winning right here, about almost 5,000 gold at this point. Sneaky Castro soloing up in the mid lane, 102 minions on him, by the way. He's doing very well for himself in the farm territory. And interestingly enough, he and High have almost the exact same builds.
They like it. I mean, you see Jace sometimes mid, sometimes top lane, and he's going to do the Muramana build, trying to transform his Manamune. And since Sneaky Castro, I mean, he does Muramana on Ezreal as well. He's comfortable with that build, and because they have that early lead, he can get away with building that Manamune right now.
So that's going to be nice for him. So to the caster team, High running still to the right-hand side lane. He has been there split pushing in every game I've ever seen him play so far.
He loves it. It's just he plays the champions that react to that type of playstyle, and he pulls it off really well.
Okay, so now we're watching Balls up in the top lane. They've actually got a large number of champions here around. Meteos and Loudamortis actually squaring off a little bit the two junglers. Nikwu kind of zoned away near his own turret, is afraid of Balls and Meteos. And so you can see still the pressure is just there. There's so much aggression available, and compLexity have to just kind of sit back and just deal with it right now.
And they're trying to, but they're just getting poked down at every turn. They're not able to get a step on anything Quantic is doing. Quantic has more movement speed advantage. They definitely have more vision. They have better dueling capabilities really across the map, and that's one of the reasons we're seeing compLexity so hamstrung just sitting at their turrets.
They are indeed. I mean, and the vision as well, you can kind of tell how good it is for Quantic here. They've got an Oracle's Elimination, and they're getting more and more wards in the enemy territory as they take another turret down to the mid lane.
3 turrets to 1 now. This is getting ugly again. How good is Quantic right now? They're just making compLexity look like they don't necessarily have a plan, because anything compLexity had prepared for or did during the season, Quantic has actually taken it away from them before compLexity had a chance to even try it.
And you can just see how hard this is for them. Sneaky Castro elimination now to the bottom lane. Actually probably wants to go in, has the Shen ult as well. The flash ult in from MIA. Can he get enough damage? Fierce elimination gets the taunt on a Sneaky Castro. Barrier is there. Will he get away from this one? MIA still trying to chase down. Exhaust is there, so is Acceleration Gate. And they do pick up 2 kills for nothing. They've of course lost some structures, and here comes High. Will he go in? Puts the poke down, but that's it.
Awesome stuff by compLexity there, forcing it on a 3v2. They really needed to find that window. Gotta give props also to Nick Wu for pulling off the flash taunt maneuver, where if you flash near the end of your taunt, it'll actually kind of taunt during your flash. So he was able to get the super extended range onto Sneaky Castro. And then since Lemon Nation was trying to play defense, he ended up dying as well, since High was not able to come over in time. There was a really small margin of error on that game for compLexity. They pulled it off for 2 kills.
So beautiful stuff by these guys, and Quantic are still lurking around, though, is the thing. Like, they just lost 2 champions. They just want to go in anyway. Fear from MIA. He has been ignited. Oh, the Rumble ultimate from Balls. There's so much fire from that team, and they take down Bandito Fiddlesticks.
MIA was probably feeling so great about himself after that fear, being like, yes, he was going to 1Q me and I was going to be eaten. And then it's like, nope, that's a 3,000 range equalizer that just picked you off as you're running back to base. And even though it did burn the equalizer for a kill, that's the map pressure that Quantic really wanted, because since the Dragon is up right now.
And they've just started on it. Look at that thing just falling over down below half health already. And yeah, I think Quantic gets this one.
They were able to, of course they get that one. That's why, because they killed Fiddlesticks.
Yes, indeed. So plenty of map control for these guys. It's been really the story of Quantic this game. And for most of this time, they've been in enemy territory and claiming it for themselves. Vitamore's trying to clear out this Wraith camp. Shock Blast comes across, doesn't quite land on anything though. compLexity now need to regroup. So, I mean, this game looks pretty similar to the last one, but what can compLexity do at this point to pull them back in this game here?
I mean, the one successful thing they did is they did the Jace gank, or sorry, the Shen aggressive Stand United.
Yeah.
And if they can get into positions where they're using Stand United aggressively instead of when Quantic is clearly having the upper hand, since Quantic is actually really measured with their engagements, then compLexity might be able to slowly pull their way back into the game. But since getting those 2 kills, they've lost a Dragon and a whole bunch of damage on a turret. So those 2 kills kind of went to nothing, and they still have the same gold disadvantage. They need to be able to slow down the game that Quantic is really good at ending.
We'll see if they can make that, if they can halt the aggression and keep their turrets alive a bit longer and turn it around. Quantic are looking to do something here. They've got a lot of members down at this bottom lane, and even with most of the minions dead, they're happy to just push on down on this one, and they've grabbed another 5th turret kill. Looks like compLexity can't stop that at all.
So 9,000 gold now led up for them. The Manamunes are also going to be transforming pretty soon here. You can see 456 on Kha'Zix and 532 on Sneaky Castro. So if this game goes on for another 6 or 7 minutes, it's going to be instant death for a couple people on compLexity if they pop off both of those Muramana actives during a team fight. The Aegis of the Legion is being completed onto Meteos as well. So the items are not even done yet for Quantic, and they're still putting on this amount of pressure.
That is very, very impressive by these guys. And you mentioned actually in the last game, there was the 17-minute finished Runic Bulwark, right? For how well Balls is doing on Shen. And you're at basically 18 minutes and he's got Sword Shoes, Haunted Guys, Riley's Crystal Scepter compared to almost nothing completed here from the compLexity side.
And Nick was actually going towards a Warmogs instead of the Runic Bulwark because he turned his first No Magic into Mercury Treads. His team really needs just defense, but it's not necessarily a double AP composition he's against, which is why he's going for the Warmogs, but they're just looking for the baseline of survivability if they want to be able to hold these turrets at all.
Well, we'll see if they can hold on to them. Of course, turrets do fight, so they can at least make it a 6v5. They can fight this battle correctly. Quantic still looking to siege. High is in the mid lane, the other 4 at the bottom, and they're trying to push down inhibitor turrets. Poke comes out from Jace, but to put out a little bit of damage here. compLexity try to put a little bit back, they just don't quite find much.
And this is going to be the hold for compLexity. It seems like one of these patterns that Quantic is up 30,000 to 20,000 gold in all of their games, because it's like the 4th game in a row where they've reached this point. It's just now at 20 minutes. This is probably the longest game that Quantic's been in so far in the qualifier. This one, it's on pace to probably last longer than 24 minutes, so we'll at least give compLexity that they've been able to hold out for this long.
So some minor improvements indeed have been made. They've gotten 2 kills so far. The Nick Wu ultimate is back up. So you mentioned those aggressive Stand Uniteds. They have the ability to do this now. The problem is, to me, do they have enough awards to find those kills? Can they actually find someone to pick off?
Well, it looks like compLexity is protecting against a Baron bait really heavily. They have 2 or 3 wards in their own red jungle and 1 inside the Baron pit, because the next logical progression for Quantic in a game that they're not winning like super hard is to maybe start baiting around Baron. And compLexity would hope to like find someone warding, they maybe try to catch out Lemonation and do something there, but if they engage in any type of even 4v5 team fight, they're probably going to lose. So compLexity has to be super picky with what they choose.
Well, right now it's going to be a somewhat of a 2-on-2, probably flashing away despite the stand united from high, and they just could not deal enough damage to cause it with Meteos and Sneaky Castro coming from the backhand side. Quantic looks for another push here down the mid lane.
And there is a lot of hopping around from high right there. Did burn the Shen ultimate, so that aggression avenue is out of the way. It's one of those things for Quantic saying, okay, how do we get these 2 kills on us? Oh, Nick Wu used his ultimate to go in on us. Now they take that away, and this engage might not be that potent.
They are going to start, but Lattimortis not in a great place. They get the fear off the Meteos, though. Could he take enough damage? He's been silenced. Finally gets the repel off. Can he go anywhere? Flashes away. A lot of damage coming in from Probably. Pulls everybody in, but there comes the crescendo. The equalizer as well. So much damage. They find 1. Nick Wu's not in a great place, trying to run away as well. Chuper's been slowed on top of that one. They get another kill. High is on a killing spree, and now they are chasing Chuper. He does land the slow, but Balls, is he going to chase in on the base? He just maybe will. MAA shows up. High is so low on health, he's been exhausted. Balls will fall over. Can they turn this one around? Shot Glass comes across. Double kill there for the Ezreal, and Chuper is still alive. That replacement for Brunch U is holding on. However, Castro picks up the kill onto Lattimortis, and now it is a 2 versus 3. He's going to go back in. Sneaky Castro with a double kill does take down Chuper. Now only MIA is alive.
Chuper almost pulled off the miracle play. He had the double kill, and then as Quantic was chasing him down on his inhibitor turret, he barely got chased down by Jace. That was almost exactly what compLexity needed. That was a very chaotic, close fight. But at the end of the day, compLexity lost their inhibitor, and their backs are still against the wall.
They are indeed down 12,000 gold right here, but at least with a couple people dead, maybe they can make some moves around the map. Meteos actually stealing red in full vision of a ward. compLexity, he goes for the Crow Storm. He's not going to quite land anything there. Just takes down a couple of minor minions and a nice repel to the Baron. He'll get out.
He almost got the Spiderlings. That would have been like 20 gold. Would have been worth his ultimate, I think.
It's decent.
But not quite. Shoot, man. For MIA, ultimate being down, more threat lost. They still don't have Stand United. They still don't have an inhibitor. Everyone on Quantic was stuck shopping now. And because that was in such full view, for really only burning a repel from Meteos, that just gives Quantic even more of a power play if they want to go and get another inhibitor.
And this could be rough then. So they're going down for the Dragon. That's going to be fairly easy at this point. Look at that high-end ball saying, yeah, no one's going to contest us here. And they've been really timing it on respawn as a cool thing as well. That ever since about 4 minutes with that cool power play bottom, it's just been dragon after dragon after dragon with no attempts at all from compLexity.
Yeah, that's a lot of dragons so far in the game. I mean, is that like... There's no way that's the 4th dragon. Is it the 4th dragon?
Yes, the 4th dragon.
Because the first one is 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Next one is like 10.
10,
16 or
22.
17, and then 23. So
yeah,
that's got to be some kind of record. 4 dragons by 23 minutes. And it shows in the gold because they're now close to 13,000 gold up here. The Merman has been completed, and MIA is just getting trucked down by Meteos in the second battle. Yeah,
and this time around, no Crow Storm, so Meteos will actually be winning that one. Probably, though, getting caught out high and Balls, taking him down incredibly quickly. 9-4 the kill score, 24 minutes in.
Wow. So Quantic, again in complete control. Probably just wanted his good old blue buff. And this is opening up a Baron attempt by Quantic. Lemonation sitting on that Oracles, and half health, mind you, but they don't have fear of compLexity right now. This would be the moment for Lattimortis to try a drive-by Baron steal of some kind. Everyone's seen that stuff from Zach, but the solo laners of Quantic are just keeping him at bay.
And Baron Asher does, in fact, go down 24 minutes, and High shows up. There's one, gets the reset, but does not quite find Lattimortis. Elastic Slingshot sends him over the wall. However, they've got a few minutes of power, or a few seconds, I should say, of power play. 5-on-4 as probably comes back up.
Yeah, the whole game for them is a power play right now because it's Baron plus 16,000 gold, 24.5 minutes into the game. They're going to get the easiest of the turrets to take down right now. Also, it's convenient since they were just up there for the Baron.
So the top lane just so easy for them, as you said. Convenient, but why the heck not take it? 750 gold picked up for their troubles here. 10-4, a giant 16,000 gold lead. Ooh, True Shot Barrage coming across the team for a little bit of damage, but that does not deter them whatsoever. They're going in on the turret down to half health, and they're actually going to give them a little bit of space. They back off a bit.
I'm just waiting for a flash crescendo from Lemonation and the game to be over. There's like just a transformation of the Mer mana on high as well, so this is actually a power spike as well as everything else coming together at exactly the right time for Quantic.
Well, the inhibitor likely to go down. There's the equalizer as well. A lot of damage on Allowed Immortus, actually. And there comes High again, finding a little bit of punishment to deal to that compLexity squad. More and more inhibitors and more buildings are going down. They're just going to go right for the Nexus at this point. compLexity must fight right here, but Allowed Immortus gets stunned. He will not get the slingshot. One Nexus turret about to fall over. They find Chuber. Chuber falls over. That's 1 for nothing so far. Second turret going to go down. This could be 2-0. Ninja comes by. There comes Shockwave, and everything is coming through. Will it be enough damage for compLexity or for Quantic? Looks like Quantic is mopping up the battle. Everyone falling over. Cheers coming out from the players, and this will be 2-0 here for Quantic.
And even though 26 minutes is the longest game Quantic has had so far in the qualifiers, it's their biggest gold lead. They ended that one with 21,000 gold up on compLexity. They are just looking amazing here. They need one more win in the next 3 to become an LCS team.
And would you believe it? I mean, they were the old incarnation. 2 of the members were there for the spring qualifier, and they were the favorites, and they lost in groups. And they said, we've been trying for the last few months. We even have a gaming house. We want so badly to get into this, and they're now right there.